Events are always exciting things. The industry always seems to be very vibrant, very dynamic. So can you give us an overview of what the industry is like today and a little bit about your association as well?
Basically, event industry right now, like you said, very vibrant, very exciting, and it's growing very fast. Technology has evolved very much. In 2020, we started as a legitimate association in Sri Lanka. We don't take event management per se as event management. So event management does consist of these elements. So it's very important. Yeah, it's very important. We as the event management association or rather the event management industry contributes over 32 billion to the GDP as at 2022 statistics. So that's a big amount. Plus we give direct employment is about 30,000. And indirect is about 80,000 and livelihood is about 400,000. So looking at from outside perspective, I think it's a big industry.
It is.
Yeah. So there is so much potential for us to grow. So that's, as the Event Management Association, that's our role, to bring the industry together and to connect and to share and to grow.
We always talk of promoting MICE as, very big arm in terms of tourism. How is this segment doing and are we doing enough?
So Sri Lanka right now has identified, with our knowledge, with Sri Lanka tourism has become a sort of a very interesting destination, wedding destination. Yeah, we need the infrastructure laid out properly. We are discussing with the government officials to link up and to grow actually Sri Lanka tourism. We are linking up with Sri Lanka tourism and the other industries as well to come up with a chain reaction, especially where Sri Lanka has been identified as one of the best venues for MICE as well as wedding destinations. So we need to have a system to implement where we need to know January how many destination weddings we had, January how many MICE we had. So that's very important for people who are investing, for the investors to invest on prospective venues or so on projects.
The event management space is growing in Sri Lanka. We spoke about all of this and more with Nisal Caldera. Stay tuned.
For 30 years, LMD has been the voice of business in Sri Lanka, capturing the pulse of the nation's corporate landscape through its iconic covers. Each cover tells a story, from the first edition in 1994 to the present day, narrating key moments, leaders and trends that have shaped Sri Lanka's business ecosystem. Over the years, LMD covers have featured thought leaders, business pioneers and game-changing innovations, reflecting the evolution of industries and the economy. As we celebrate 30 years, these covers represent more than just publications. They are a testament to LMD's legacy of excellence in business journalism and its unwavering commitment to being Sri Lanka's leading voice of business. LMD, Sri Lanka's voice of business, a legacy of 30 years.
Hello and welcome to LMDtv. The topic of conversation today is event management prospects, and I'm here with the president of Event Management Association and the founder and managing director of Nisal Caldera. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Ruwandi. Initially, let me convey my heartfelt gratitude for getting me in here to represent Event Management Association in Sri Lanka.
And I'm looking forward to hearing all about it because events are always exciting things. The industry always seems to be very vibrant, very dynamic. So just to ease our viewers and audience into our conversation, can you give us an overview of what the industry is like today and a little bit about your association as well?
Sure. Okay, let me start by explaining where the industry lies in Sri Lanka. So basically, event industry right now is very, like you said, very vibrant, very exciting, and it's growing very fast. Technology has evolved very much. So where Event Management Association is concerned in Sri Lanka, events professionally started about 35 to 40 years back. And now during the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, it has grown radically. So when in 2019, when the Easter bombing attack took place, the event managers got together and thought that we should be together to unite the industry. So that's where we started. if I'm not mistaken, in 2019, we all got together in May at Water's Edge, and then from there onwards, in 2020, we started as a legitimate association in Sri Lanka, and so our terms of as president are 2 years. So we had Roshan Vijayaratna and then Nishan Vasala Tantri as presidents, and I'm the third president. So starting from about 35 members, now we have grown up to about 76 members.
That's amazing.
And the members consist of event managers, wedding planners, and event suppliers. So also entertainment suppliers like mass show organizers. So I mean, we don't take event management per se as event management. So event management is does consist of these elements. So it's very important.
Term, yes.
Yeah, it's very important. So that's where we stand. So we are about, I would say, 5 years old officially. We are growing. So back in the days, event management was not a profession sake, but now people have identified. We have gained respect, especially where venues are concerned. Clients have identified, and so that's where we stand. Where it connects to the economy. So in Sri Lanka, we as the Event Management Association, or rather the event management industry, contributes over 32 billion to the GDP as at 2022 statistics. So that's a big amount. Plus we give direct employment is about 30,000 and indirect is about 80,000, and livelihood is about 400,000. So looking at from outside perspective, I think it's a big industry.
It is.
Yeah, and growing, of course. Now, I'll quickly look at the world figures also. So world figures are, it's a business of 1.3 trillion.
Wow.
Okay, so USD, 1.3 trillion. So one would say, okay, where do we stand?
Yeah,
okay.
comparatively.
So there is so much potential for us to grow. So that's, as the Event Management Association, that's our role, to bring the industry together and to connect and to share and to grow.
So many questions coming to my head right now. I'd like to ask you, I mean, we have a lot of potential, I'm sure, for local events as well as for international events. In the last few years, how has these two aspects kind of grown?
Okay, so if you go back 2019, 20 COVID, 20 to 22 COVID, then we had the financial crunch in 2022. Now only we are in the safe mode, growing. So actually it's growing. It's a ripple effect. When the economy grows, the corporates grow. Then when the corporates go, they have the potential of having events like product launches to conventions to staff meetups to all that comes into play. Then when it goes to private sector, of course private sector, when there is financials going up, so you have weddings, you have parties, so all these people have excess money to spend on entertainment like big musical shows and stuff. So all this, it's a ripple effect. So actually it's growing. So what we need to do is right now, since it's growing, so a lot of new event management companies, wedding planners and event suppliers are coming in to the business, to the industry. So when it happens, of course, Sri Lanka, as you know, it's a small country. So we are talking about 32 billion GDP contribution from the event industry. So we may run out of business, okay, in future. Right. So for that, as the Event Management Association, we need to bring in more business from overseas, especially from India. So that is why now we've signed up with, in 2022, we signed up with EEMA, that's Event and Entertainment Management Association India, the biggest arm for event and entertainment like EMA in Sri Lanka. So we came up with a concept, actually they came up with a concept called Korea, that is Congress for Regional Event Management Association. So we are a part of that. So we have 27 event management association linked to this Congress. So we are looking at about 3,800 members. So whenever they have events, weddings, or you name it, so we have a kind of a collaborative pool within ourselves. So they reach to us, and so that's where the overseas events are concerned. But Sri Lankan events, of course, it's growing. Corporates are spending on events. Individuals are spending more and more on weddings and parties, and where entertainment and leisure is concerned, there are so much of events. So it's a pretty much of a happening industry.
I want to dive into the Indian and overseas prospects a little bit more.
Sure.
I mean, we always talk of promoting MICE as, you know, a very big arm in terms of tourism. How is this segment doing, and are we doing enough?
Okay, so MICE stands for Meetings, Incentives, Conferences and Exhibitions. Plays a major role. It comes as a package with tourism as well, and destination weddings. So Sri Lanka right now has identified, with our knowledge, with Sri Lanka tourism, has become a sort of a very interesting destination wedding destination.
Yes.
So for that, of course, we need the infrastructure laid out properly. So I mean, I'll give you an example. See, an average wedding, let's say someone from Canada or someone from any other country wants to have a wedding, 200 packs. So 200 packs mean minimum 100 rooms.
Okay.
So you need at least minimum of 3 days of a buyout from a hotel and with a proper venue. So most of the clients would love to have in one place.
Okay, all 3 days.
All 3 days at one venue.
Okay.
So then it's easy for them to manage the total event. So here we come to a standstill. So usually it's November, December, January, Feb, other season where all these especially destination weddings happen, where that's where the season lays. So then we run out of venues, you know, like we run out of rooms, we run out of venues. So for that now we need to build up the infrastructure. That is very, very important right now. So we are trying to liaise with the government, bring them into the scene and make them sort of show them what's going on right now, where we are lacking.
More rooms.
Absolutely. So, and also the other problem is the destination weddings and MICE events are concerned. So when these clients come into Sri Lanka, so their average spending is around $180 per day. So if you take the numbers, in January this year, 252,000 tourists have come. This is as per the government numbers. So out of which we usually take, that's the standard, 10% for MICE and destination weddings. That's about 2,500 people have come to Sri Lanka last month for weddings, and this is average, I'm telling you as a whole. So that's a big number. So imagine about $180 this per person expenditure, plus the wedding expenditure, plus the amount of money, the foreign exchange that comes into our supplier's hand. So that it's a big industry.
And that's a lot of suppliers.
Yeah, so this is what now we are discussing with the government officials to link up and to grow actually Sri Lanka tourism. We are linking up with Sri Lanka tourism and the other industries as well to come up with a chain reaction so that, you know, the whole industry grows. That is tourism, events, plus, you know. So because Sri Lanka tourism, tourism and events go hand in hand, especially now, especially where Sri Lanka has been identified as one of the best venues for MICE as well as wedding destinations. But infrastructure we are running out. So I'll give you a quick example again. So officially, if I'm not mistaken, according to SLTDA numbers, we have about 40,000 official keys, rooms. So average, you get about 7,000 to 8,000 tourists coming to Sri Lanka on a daily basis.
Wow. Yeah.
So you can work out the numbers. The average tourist person's stay is about 10 days approximately. So that's a big amount. So we need the infrastructure.
And the gap is so obvious.
So that's what we need, data. So we need to have a system to implement where we need to know, okay, January, how many destination weddings we had. January, how many MICE we had. So that's very important for people who are investing, for the investors. to invest on
Definitely.
prospective venues or so on projects.
It's time to take a very short break, but we'll soon be back to talk more about event management prospects.
Display your brand message on digital screens at prime locations. The largest digital advertising network in Sri Lanka. Emerging Media.
Welcome back to the show. We are in conversation with the President of Event Management Association and the Founder and Managing Director of Nisal C, Nisal Caldera.
And this lack of data and statistics, which is almost an obvious requirement for us to attract investors, how easy, how difficult is it to get this done, and what is needed?
We were discussing, and we will be discussing very soon with the Convention Bureau. This is where this part is being handled by the Convention Bureau as well as Sri Lanka tourism as a whole. So we are trying to come up with a mechanism where whenever there is a event, MICE event or a destination wedding takes place, so you go online and you do this is just a suggestion which we are trying to work out. You go online, so the venue requests from the client a small approval, a permit, to a very nominal fee online. From which country, what's the category,
Basic information.
how many guests, that's all, no financial information is needed. So then we know, okay, we got from India this much of X amount of weddings in Sri Lanka in January. Then MICE events, how many? Then we know how.
What we're dealing with, yes.
So we need data for, it's very important we deal with data. So that's what we're trying to work out this. So we, as the Event Management Association, we don't only look into our members, we look at the bigger picture right now. So we are taking Event Management Association to the next level and trying to bring the entire industry together and grow the industry together with the other industries.
Because Sri Lanka being, so strategically located and blessed with so
Absolutely.
much of natural beauty, and I mean,
Yeah.
I think we have space. It's just that we have to make
So
optimum.
so that is why now technology plays a major part. Probably we'll talk that at the latter part of it. So demands are getting higher and higher. So we need to look upon the new technology coming in. So because when you have foreign people coming in for events, their demands are very high. So our members need to be in high level. So it's a very bigger picture.
Ms. Caldera, we spoke at length about the industry. I also want to ask you about the customer side of things, because these days, especially, if you look at private events, we are always seeing customers seem to be wanting every event to be exceptional, one of a kind, very unique. So I'm thinking the demands are higher and getting higher rather. Can you give us some insights about what they want these days?
Okay, so let's segregate into two aspects where corporate and private events. So private consists of weddings and parties and so on. So technology plays a major part. Social medias and other internet and everything is open for everyone. So they see things happen. Our customers see things happen.
What others are doing in other countries. Yes.
So they always say, can you do better? Can you do something different? Can you do something out of the box? So every day it's a challenge. Every day, I'm telling you. So we need to cope up with it. We need to know our onions, especially. You need to know the technology which is being shared globally. And we have to be in par with that. Others you can't retain in the industry right now. Because if you, look at corporates, top corporates, they have average a cooperative to have about 6 events minimum for a year. Minimum, this is what I'm talking about. So to cope up with these and coming up with new concepts, it's pretty challenging. So one after the other you need to change. Okay, I'm talking about, let's say, I don't want to mention brands, but let's say we recently, you all must have seen a phone being launched, a high-end phone. So now that phone from last year to this year, it was different. But what's next? So that's what, so we've been using virtual reality, augmented reality, everything, the works, video mapping, everything. Now it's AI. For the very first time recently, we've come up with a totally AI generated company profile, totally AI generated. So it has come to that level.
And you have to keep pushing that bar.
Absolutely. Others you can't survive in this industry. So you got to be really keen on what you're doing. You got to be very professional, because client demands are very, very high and very challenging. Because knowledge is available in a click of a button. So
ideas are just a click away.
Yeah, click away. Next day morning they call and say, "Can you do this?" Yeah, we need to, right? Yeah, so it's challenging. So I would say survival of the fittest, but that's why the event management association comes into play, and we help each other. We share knowledge, where it's very important. We share knowledge, we connect, and then we grow. So this year our theme is share, connect, and grow.
Oh, lovely. That's amazing. Yeah. Oh. In one of your answers, you mentioned that those days event management was not a career or a profession per se, but now it is. What is your assessment of the talent in the industry, and what is needed, by those who are going to join the industry in the future?
Okay, so I always take event management as an art. Event is a canvas. Yeah. Suppliers are your paintbrushes and the paint and everything. So you create your art, so that is passion, that is your talent. Yeah. My inspiration has been throughout, follow your heart, follow your passion, money will follow, right? So whoever who's listening, who's watching, I would always say, the youngsters especially, this is an amazing industry. It's very, very challenging, but yet it's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. From one after the other, from today to tomorrow, it's different. A different event every day. You can't
do the same event twice.
Not at all, not at all. So, but then you can't put your finance in the front and run the show. Yeah. This is the way that I think. It has really worked out for me, actually, for the past 25 years in the industry. So this is for the guys who wants to join. I'm just saying it out loud. But then, of course, the industry has the society has understood, I would say, the importance of event management. There are many colleges who have come up with event management courses, and government has come up with, actually, Mathura, there is an event management degree for 3 years. Wow. Yeah, and we have, in fact, last month, 3 interns we've given training for 6 months. It's a must that you have to have 6 months training from an event manager in an event management company. So young generations are identified. So average they have about 80 to 100 for a year being trained and coming out as
that's a really good
with a degree, actually. So this is from the government. There is a curriculum which has been given it to NITA, yeah. Okay. Yes. And VT as well. So, I mean, the industry is growing. It's just that we need to put it in the correct path, guide it. So we are now hooking up with VTA and NITA, especially VTA. And we want to give they have their own curriculums, but it's important that the experience comes into play. So that's why now we are discussing with many government officials, plus the corporate sector, where they have these courses, especially these colleges and universities. We give our input as the Event Management Association and our expertise. So these are experience we have learned. Now it has become a challenge, but the experience is behind all this. Definitely. So we need to, there are so many maestros in this business. So in this industry, so we want them to be a part of that journey for the young generation, actually, and to take them. So then it will be, because day by day it's becoming challenging. Yes. I'm not talking about getting the business as a challenge. I'm talking about sustaining and creating new events, because you need to create events.
Pushing that horizon. That's
absolutely true. So it's quite a task.
Quite a task indeed. Mr. Caldera, it's been such an interesting conversation, but unfortunately we are reaching a limit. But before I let you go, what are your prospects for events and the industry? I know there are a lot of plans in place. If we take the next 12 months, what should be happening in terms of progress?
So the cake is becoming smaller and smaller, players are becoming more and more. So we need to bring in more business. That's the most important prospect we need to look into. So we are looking into that. We need to bring in foreign events, foreign weddings. That's most important. And of course, the other thing is we have to, I have to tell especially the corporates and the individuals, if you need to have a proper event, so Event Management Association as members, as the president, as the exco, we are responsible for our members. So any of our event management association members do an event, if anything goes wrong, we are all one call away. So any corporate who wants to do an event, I would say do with the event management association member, for the mere reason the accountability and credibility is always there. So that's very important. For the next 12 years we are promoting that. So that's what, so we are having more and more in this 12 months we are having more and more venue visits. We are negotiating with venues to have conversations so that event management association member can just walk in, speak to the proper person, have a smooth run, and at the end of the day deliver an amazing event. And so the client will be happy at the end of the day.
I wish you guys the very best.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We've been in conversation with the President of Event Management Association as well as the Founder and Managing Director of Nisal C, Nisal Caldera. Thank you very much for an insightful and very interesting conversation.
Thank you very much for having me on behalf of Event Management Association. Thank you.
And thank you to all our viewers for joining us. Until next time, take care.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram and X. Thank you for watching and stay safe.